This is from the middle of the book. This is a story told by an old lady in a nursing home to a nurse. And she's talking about when she was 16. She's German, so she calls her mother Mutti. You must remember that. Okay, this is not the beginning of the story, but the bit that you'll find interesting. My 16th birthday was on the 9th of February 1945, a day I shall never forget, and not because I had lots of presents or lots of friends to the house for a party. There was no money for that. And besides, no one was in the mood to celebrate anything. Mutti and Carly had made me a birthday card and gave it to me at breakfast. I remember it was a kind of a collage full of cut-out pictures of circus life with clowns and acrobats and jugglers and horses and elephants, of course, lots of elephants because of Mutti. I put it up on the mantelpiece behind Puppy's photograph before we went off to school that morning. When we got home in the evening, Mutti was not there. This did not surprise us. We all got used to her being late home these days, but on this particular evening, she was even later than usual. I was beginning to get a little worried when I heard the garden gate squeaking open. Then Mutti was calling to us from the garden. She was coming in through the back way. I thought it was a bit strange, but did not think anything more about it. I was just relieved she was home. She came in the back door, stamping the snow off her boots. She was carrying a sack over her shoulder. "Potatoes," she said, dumping the sack on the floor and sitting herself down heavily at the kitchen table. She was breathless and glowing from the cold, and happy too, as happy as I had seen her in a long time. "I shall make a potato soup for your birthday, Elizabeth, with a little ham. I have a little ham left. I shall make you the best potato soup a mother ever made for a daughter, and I have a present for you, a surprise." "A surprise?" I said. "Of course," she laughed. "You can hardly have a birthday without a surprise, can you? And I promise you, it'll be the biggest surprise you ever had too. It is outside in the garden. I think it is maybe a little too big to bring inside." Carly got to the window before I did, which irritated me, because to my mind this was my birthday, my surprise, not his. I pushed him out of the way. I could see it was still snowing outside, but at first I could see very little else. By now, Carly had rushed to the back door and opened it. "There's an elephant in the garden, Mutti!" he cried. "Why is there an elephant in our garden?" Then I saw her too, a huge shadow that moved and became an elephant as it came towards me into the light from the window. Mutti had her arms round me and was kissing the top of my head. "My secret, remember?" she whispered. "Happy birthday, Elizabeth." "It is Marlena!" cried Carly, leaping up and down in delight. "From the zoo, it is Marlena!" "Is that really her?" I said. I was still not sure whether my eyes were deceiving me or not. It took a while to persuade the hair director, but in the end I managed it, Mutti told him. I told him the truth, that if anything happened to her, it would break my Carly's heart. And I also convinced him that Marlena needed me night and day now, that without her mother, she might just pine away and die of sadness. I had to be there with her all the time. Well, you'll understand how a little story on the radio became the story in this book. And that's what I do. I pinch stories. I rob stories. So don't tell me any of your stories. I'll pinch them. Much, much better if you've got stories of your own. You write about them because you know your stories a lot better than I do. So that's what I do. It's quite simple. I think I've just about finished. Could you all sit up? Sit up, sit up, sit up, sit up. Take a deep breath. Deep breath. 1, 2, 3. Hold it. And go. And you lot there do the same thing now. 40,000 of you. Take a deep breath. All of you again. One more. Hold it. Hold it. Let go. One more, one more. This time a big deep one. Ready? Hold it. "40,000 children die in Scotland because they didn't breathe, silly twits. You may now breathe." This is to breathe oxygen into your brain so that the questions you might be asking, or that I'm going to be answering in a minute, might be more interesting. I'll shut up. Thank you very much.